Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about a critical topic regarding the current cycle of Bitcoin and why I do believe there is a small probability that this cycle will be extremely dangerous in both for bears and bulls at the same time. I'm a very bullish on Bitcoin, I've always been, but I think this cycle will prove definitely that um, Bitcoin is a beast on its own. So please stay tuned until the end of the video because I will explain to you why I do believe that we will not see anymore what we have seen in the past in this cycle. So first of all, let's start with some on-chain analysis of what we have seen in the last years. We have seen developing a lot of tools that study and analyze the chart of Bitcoin and try to extrapolate the length of the bull's run, the length of the bear market, the top of the bull cycles, some kind of analysis of the overvaluation of Bitcoin compared to its real valuation. And many good charts have came out from this. One of the most famous is the one from Plan B. You can find it on Twitter. Benjamin Cohen is a very famous YouTuber that did many analyses with mathematics into Bitcoin. I think it's one of the best YouTuber about cryptocurrency out there, and you should definitely follow him. I will leave a link of his YouTube channel down below. And during the euphoria of this cycle, I've also googled actually old YouTube videos of 2016 2015 about what people thought about Bitcoin would have done on those years, to see exactly how euphoric we are at the moment and to see how prediction can be really accurate with Bitcoin. So let's start with the stock to flow model. The stock to flow model is very known to everybody. It's basically a measure of how scarce goods appreciate over time based on the law of supply and demand. We know that Bitcoin every 4 years has a halving. This diminishes the supply, and when the demand increases, the price of Bitcoin has to increase because the supply is the same. And we know that we started in 2010. We had a first bull run, kinda from 50 cents till $20. Then we had a small bear market that had the second bull run after the first halving in 2013, which had a double top that peaked at 1K. Then we had a second bear market. After the second halving, we had a second bull run that topped at 20K, very famous bull run of 2017. Then we had a second bear market. We had a small local top around in summer 2019, around 13K. And after the third halving of last year in May, we are currently in the fourth bull market cycle. This is very famous, and it predicts that basically Bitcoin will have a top over 100K at least and will stabilize around the 100K line after we reach the top. So the top is predicted to be around 20 this year, between 2021 and beginning of 2022, if we align it with the other bull cycles. Of course, that means that after the fourth halving, we will have again a bull run that will go up in 2025 to around over 1 million, and so on until 2149, when the last Bitcoin will be mined. I mean, the law of Bitcoin is very simple. We don't have an issuer of Bitcoin, we just have halvings, so the price of Bitcoin will adjust based on the demand and the supply. Another interesting charts are from Benjamin Cohen. So please follow his channel, Into the Cryptoverse, one of the best channel in crypto I've ever found. And he draw some regression band, which you can find an accumulation phase, which is the moment in which is the best in time to accumulate Bitcoin, which is basically close to its real valuation, and an overvaluation band, which is the moment in which Bitcoin tops in bull cycle and which is actually the best moment to sell. So he started his channel in 2019. He made lots of videos. Actually, this chart is not accurate now, but we are currently, based on his data, we are currently touching the lower line of this upper regression band. So basically we're around 60K, which is the lower part here, and the top of his band is around 80K. If we go to the top today, of course, this band, it's a logarithmic monotonic function, so it goes up all the time. So it means that if we stay at 60K for long and we go up later, this chart might see that the top of the bull run might be around 100K. This is also a very interesting chart. So then, as I said, I dig down and I found that in 2014 there were already people discussing about the logarithmic regression line of Bitcoin. And there was this Trollololo that released on this famous chart. As you see, the price is stopped at 2014 because was the time this chart was released, and he explains how Bitcoin has this kind of logarithmic price action, which we have diminishing return by every market cycle. Actually, this one is expressed in years, not in market cycle. So we don't. It's not expected here to have bear market. So this is something that we should remember for what we will discuss later on. So this is all in years. So we have every year a kind of an increase. We look at the diminishing returns. We start from 11,000% from issuing to the current value, and then we go on 1,500, 600%, 400, until he predicts for 2023 we will have from the previous year 159% increase, which is basically kind of a 1.5x in the price of Bitcoin. Why is this chart very interesting? If we look at it, 2017, 22 of November 2017, Bitcoin for him was priced at $10,000 for Bitcoin. He predicted this in 2014. Actually, if we look at the chart of Bitcoin in November 2017, we were really close to that price. And then we went parabolically to 20K before we plunged down. If we look then at the year that came after, we don't really see a 40,000 Bitcoin at the end of 2019, but we see that we are approaching based on this line, we're approaching his 100,000 Bitcoin by July of this year. So based on this chart, we should top the bull market, or we should at least reach $100,000 per Bitcoin in the 16th of July of 2021. So there are other charts. Benjamin Cohen did many of them. This one that I really like a lot is the basically the lengthening cycles of Bitcoin bull markets. So basically it took like from the start and how long did it take to reach the top, then from the bottom of the first bear market, how long did it take to reach the second top, again from the top of the third bear market, how long did it take to reach the top of 20K in 2017. And again, he took the bottom in December 2018, I think was, and he predicted, based on the previous cycle, considering that the market tends to lengthen all the time, that we will reach a top in 2023, very long cycle, that will break actually the rule of the 4-year cycle. And we will have a top in 2023 with a total crypto market cap, this is the total crypto market cap, sorry, not only Bitcoin, around 10 trillion. So if total crypto market cap is 10 trillion, we can assume that Bitcoin should have at least 5 trillion in market cap, considering that usually 50% of the dominance is on Bitcoin. Now, I do believe that these charts are really valuable, really useful, especially this one. It's really interesting to me. The one from Benjamin Cohen are super awesome. I always watch his videos. But honestly, I do not think these events will happen again. I do not think we will have again 4-year cycle with bull markets and bear markets. I do not think that we will top on the top of the regression bands. I do not think that this line is anymore valid. I do not think that the lengthening the duration of a bull market is anymore valid. Why? Because I'm a contrarian investor, and I think we will face this year something that is called the observer effect. What is the observer effect? The observer effect is a quantum theory in which concludes that just by observing, an observer can change the very things they are looking at. It suggests that the impact on an object's surrounding environment leads to a reaction and change in behavior by that object. Our own approach and methodology centers on this theory, changing perception and subsequent interaction through the power of external observation. So basically, when you observe an event, the fact that you're only observing it is changing that by observing an object, the only fact that you're observing it is changing already the object that you're looking at. One of the few example I found, for example, online, if I look at Wikipedia, is like checking the tire pressure of an automobile tire. This is difficult if you don't let some air out. If you let some air out to check the pressure, you're already changing the pressure of the tire. Or the same like when you observe light. To observe light, you need some kind of instrument that emits light. But if you emit light, you emit photons. And these photons kind of interact with the other photon that you're observing, thus changing the light that you're observing. So how is this relevant in the Bitcoin analysis we are doing? Let's take a look at this chart, for example. This chart predicted that year by year, in 2014 was made, year by year, Bitcoin would have grown. We had diminishing return, it would have grown in kind of this logarithmic linear regression. But what happened? After this chart was published, something very strange happened. Is that Bitcoin entered in a different kind of stage, which was the 4-year lengthening cycle. So instead of having like constant growth, we had bull markets and strong bear markets. Bull markets and strong bear markets. This is already different. Why do I believe that this will change in the future again? This is a chart from Glassnode. Glassnode was founded in 2017. Before 2017, all this data was not available. Very few people knew about this data. Very few people knew about the stock-to-flow model. Very few people saw this chart. Nobody had this chart. Nobody had this chart. That's why in 2017 we topped exactly at 20k. And that's why in 2017 we didn't top at 41k. So the observer effect explains that since now we know that we are going through a bull market, that we are going to a top, many people predict that the top will be in the summer. The fact that we already know that the top is in the summer, it's kind of giving us the opportunity to sell before or don't sell. So what I'm saying is that not that Bitcoin will capitulate from here. I'm saying that Bitcoin from this point on will not observe anymore this kind of bull and bear, or will not even like go just constantly up. We might see an extreme bull phase or an extreme bear phase from here on, because all the data that we had before, it's in the past. It's not anymore valid because we know it already. And history does not repeat itself. It's man that repeats itself. It's the action of man that repeats itself all the time. And the action of man are always driven by sentiment and greed. And when sentiment and greed will come, we will see what will be the new pattern of which Bitcoin will play. I do not believe. This is has a kind of a certain probability of event that could happen. We could also see, as I said, we could also see really again a Bitcoin bull and bear phase. But in my opinion, it's less probable. Let's take, for example, the classic pump and dump event. Have you ever participated to a pump and dump recently in a crypto coin? There was one very famous in, I think it was January or February on XRP, which people wanted to pump the price of XRP on the 1st of February in a certain hour. And this news was leaked 1 week before. So in that week, the price of XRP appreciated by 100%. And the moment on which the XRP was listed was ready to pump, the price dumped by 80%. So what does it tell you? It tells you that people that already know what is going to happen, they will not make it happen, because it's kind of human. We are already observing the appreciation in price before, so we know now that the price of XRP is pumping at that time. So why wait for a pump? Just sell. You already had your 100% gain. So, or the same with Cardano in Coinbase that we had recently. Cardano was listed in Coinbase, I guess last week, and many YouTubers claimed 3 days before that this was the best moment to buy Cardano. No, the best moment to buy Cardano was exactly in that moment, because would have appreciated, would have gone to $2 or $3. Well, the smart investor knew that was the best moment to buy, and the best moment to sell was a couple of hours before Cardano was listed in Coinbase. So, in my opinion, the observer effect might have a big impact in this cycle. it means that whatever we have in the past, we cannot use anymore to predict the future. So whatever we have seen until now, we have too many charts, too many data. So it means that this is not valid anymore. And I do believe that we will have, of course, a top and we will have a bear market, but none of the data we have can predict anymore where is going to be the top, how big is going to be the top, and when it's going to be. I think I already said it. So I do believe that we will have again a top and we'll have again a bear market. But none of the data that we had before can predict when it's going to be the top and how big it's going to be the top. And how bad then is going to be the bear market, if a bear market will be there. You could ask me, for example, why then, if this is true, why this does not apply, for example, in the stock market? But technically in the stock market, you don't really have for small cycles. You have very big cycles that people cannot really see. And you could say every 10 years the market drops by 50%. Okay. You can check in the year 2000 the market dropped by 80%. Then it dropped 7 years later, not 10 years. And then after 2009 it dropped 11 years later, not 10 years again. So everybody expected the stock market to crash in 2019 because it was the end of the 10-year, or 2018 because it was the end of the 10-year period. But the market didn't crash. It crashed 2 years later when the when the famous Black Swan event happened. So you see, this is something that happens systematic, not only in stock market, but in general in physics. So again, it's not certain, of course, nothing is certain. Anybody tells you that something is certain, don't believe him. But I have some kind of I feel like there is a strong probability that this cycle will be extremely different. So be cautious. Don't believe in kind of YouTubers that tell you that summer it's going to be the top. If summer is going to be the top and everybody thinks that, everybody will start selling in spring because they know summer is the top. So when you see that values of Bitcoin are overheated, look at the chart, look at RSI, look at overvaluation, follow Benjamin Cohen. When is the time? Sell your Bitcoin. Or if you want to keep it for 10 years, just keep it. Don't go and panic. This is going to be a very different cycle that we're entering, and it's gonna make history. Thank you for listening, for watching. I'll see you at the next video.